Hello guys, today we're gonna talk about Chixia and why I think she's such a great DPS and why I like her so much. So let's just start talking about her in general and what kind of hero she is. She is ranged, she is a fusion hero, she uses dual pistols to deal her damage, and before we jump into anything else, we're gonna talk about her Ascension Materials. So you're gonna need Whispering Cores to upgrade her, like you do for most heroes. You need Belly Poppy to upgrade her as well. And the neat trick you have here, you have these collection spots that you can easily track and go there and find the Belly Poppy you need to upgrade her. So really good thing that we have that easy collection stuff. You will also need Rage Tacit Cores, and that you get from Inferno Rider. And Inferno Rider has his spot right here in Sea of Flames. And it's really nice now that the bosses like instantly respawn so you can farm them more easily. Let's get into the next thing and let's talk about her stats priority. So what you want to prioritize is crit rate, crit damage, and also her basic attack, of course, because she is a DPS. Before we jump into the stats, I just want to go over weapons. And we will come back to stats later on when we go through the echoes. But first we want to talk a bit about weapon priority. So I haven't gotten her best weapon yet, but if we go into standard weapon convene, I'm actually trying to pull for it right now. The Static Mist is the best one for her. Then it goes... Then Thunderbolt is the next best. And then Undying Flame is the next one below that. And that's what I got right now. And then we'll also have the Nova Burst. So if you don't have that Static Mist, Thunderbolt, Undying Flame, or Nova Burst is fine. But you will reach your full potential if or when you get that Static Mist. We're gonna get into echoes soon, but I want to jump into the skill priority before we go into anything else. So her skill priority is Fourth Circuit first, then we have Resonant Liberation, then we have the Resonance skill, and then the basic normal attacks, and last we have intro skills. But if you're free to play, you can actually skip this a bit. It doesn't make that huge of a difference if you upgrade them. And Chixia will only be like your main damage dealer for a small bit if you choose to go her in the beginning. So doing huge investment on her can be a bit wasteful. As you can see, I've gone in a bit, but that was before I knew the game more. And I did it in the early game because I was like, hey, you want to upgrade everything on your best hero, right? Wrong. But if you have materials, you can go in. Just know that it doesn't change that much. And with that, we'll just quickly go through the forts as well. Here we have some fusion damage. We have more fusion damage over here. We have attack and attack damage. And it's mirrored on the other side as well. And when we go into the middle here, we actually upgrade some of her Fourth Circuit ability with increase the damage of Resonance skill Boom Boom. And then Boom Boom skill is of course her resonance skill, so her E. So when she slides and do her attacks, we'll get into her skill set later on when I show it. So that increases the skill damage of her resonance skill. And then we have another upgrade to her resonance skills, which upgrades the skill during Daka Daka. And that's when you use your ammunition that you saved up to attack a monster. So if you use 30 ammunitions, which is the max before you do that big damage I'm gonna show you soon, you get 1% attack for 10 seconds. It can stack up to 30 times. So you get 30% attack. That's really, really huge. So let's also go over the upgrades you get. So if you get multiple copies of Chixia, you will start getting these upgrades. We call them S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. So I currently have her at S5, but let's start from the beginning. Resonance skill Boom Boom hits will always be critical. So what Boom Boom is, final part of her resonance skill and do a massive attack. And that one will always be critical now. So that's also why critical damage is really important on this hero to get a lot of damage out, because this will be guaranteed. So during Resonance Liberation, Blazing Flame, for every 1 target defeated, Chixia recovers 5 Resonance energy up to 20 each time. So if you defeat enemies during Resonance Liberation, she will get Resonance energy back. Resonance Liberation, Blazing Flames deals 40% more damage to targets whose HP is below 50%. The Blazing Flames part of her Resonance abilities will deal more damage if enemies have lower than 50% HP. Really solid overall. And we have this part where you use your Resonance Liberation, Blazing Flames, where you get the ammunition I was talking about, and immediately resets cooldowns of Resonance skill. So that's why you can also use them before. That's why it's really good. I will show you later on in a fight where it's really good to get those 30 bullets in. So when you mobilize a boss, you can enter the Daka Daka of a Resonance skill where you use up all those bullets to get 30% attack, and then use your Resonance Liberation, so you get 60 ammunition back and you also get increased damage on the Resonance Liberations. Really solid, really good. Her S5 is when you use the Daka Daka, because you need 30 bullets to reach max stacks, and then you will get 30 additional attack upon the 30% you already get if you have her inherit skill upgraded over here. And then finally, you have the Resonance skill Boom Boom, increases the basic attack damage bonus of all team members by 25%. This is also why it can be really good to have her in your team and swapping back and forth and using that Resonance skill to make sure that your other members of your team or your other Resonators is dealing more damage as well. So let's just show this real quickly. Here you have the Resonance skill. If you just click it real quickly, you can see that ammunition on the bottom went up. And now if you hold it, you get the benefits we're talking about. And now the weapon glows, that means we use 30 stacks or 30 ammunition to attack the enemy. That's what you get, that attack increase. So let's go through this again. If you just click it quickly, you will slide and shoot some bullets, and you will also gain some ammunition down here, as you can see. Right now I'm full, so if I just hold down my E, you will see she's starting using that ammunition, and when you get below that arrow that you saw down here, you can use for a more powerful attack. And that's also where the inherit skill upgrade comes in, where if you get to that point, you have max stacks, so you have 30 stacks and get 30% attack. Let's just use the power up on a unit here as well. So let's see here. There comes the big attack. You saw it start glowing. We then have her Resonance Liberation. And just to quickly show you what it does, how you want to combo this. Let me just do this. You want to get 30 ammunition, so you have that increased attack stacks, so you deal more damage. The Resonance Liberation will restore your ammunition as well, so make sure you use your ammunitions before you use your Resonance skills. I will show you this later on in combat as well, but before we do that, I just want to go over echoes and how important they are to increase the stats you need. And remember, the stats you need is crit rate, crit damage, and attack. And everything above that is just a bonus. And how we want to build her is with the 4-cost Inferno. And if you haven't done the entire story yet, you might not have gotten Nightmare Inferno yet. So if you go with a normal Inferno, I showed you the spot earlier where you can farm him. So you can go with normal Inferno until you get the Nightmare one. So what you want to do is focus on crit damage, and crit rate. This will really help you improve. And as I was saying, you want to go for 1 4-cost, that is Inferno. Then you want to go for 2 3-cost. Make sure they have fusion damage as well. Then try and get them with crit rate, crit damage. And if you get anything else here, that's really great. It's a huge bonus. But just getting those stats on their own are really great. here you can see I got a way better one where I actually got all the most important stats for my Chixia, where I got crit rate, crit damage, and attack. This is like the perfect echo because they got those 3 main stats that I really want on my Chixia. So I want to strive to have as many echoes as possible close with these stats. And then I have 2 1 cost as well. These are quite easy to farm. And if you guys don't know how to easily farm echoes, you can actually go into the bottom left here or go into your data bank. You then go into the Sonata gallery. And here we can select several different types that we want to farm. So if you don't know where they are, you can just go in here, click them, and then use detect. And they will start showing up on the map. And once you go and kill that enemy, they will show you a new spot where that enemy is until you kill basically all of them. But I also want to tell you about the trick where you can farm several different types of echoes at the same time for different heroes. If you're starting out and Chixia might be the first one you're looking at, or you have other resonators you need to farm echoes on, you can actually go in and compare them. And if you look here, and if you have a Havoc Rover that you haven't got the best echoes on yet, we can compare Molten Rift and a Havoc Eclipse and see, oh, they actually share Havoc Dreadmane as one. So farming Havoc Dreadmanes is actually good for you for 2 reasons. You will be farming both for Molten Rift and your Chixia, and you will also be farming for your Havoc Rover. So make sure you do this as often as you can. And if you're going for someone else, let's say since it's anniversary, maybe you've gotten a G-Gen, you can see here, oh, here we have the Heron. And does Heron share with anyone? Oh, the Violet Feather Heron shares with Molten Rift, so with my Chixia. And sometimes these herons actually stack together, so they're 2 in one place. So farming that as well is really good for you, because farming echoes for multiple resonators at once will save you time and be way more efficient. So to show off her skill set, we will first jump into Fallacy, and I'm gonna show you some of her advantages and disadvantages. Now I don't have an ammunition, but see here, in the beginning we can charge up and really use her well. But here it starts doing a lot of attacks, and it will become harder and harder for us to deal damage to Fallacy here. And sometimes we'll be able to manage to stack up our abilities and be able to use them, but most of the time we won't. So also make sure when you're doing this, so let's see if I can immobilize him here. I actually managed to it. And here you really want to have over 30 ammunition, so you can get those attack stacks up, so you deal more damage when you're doing your ultimate and all that. And see there, I also regain full ammunition once again, so I can burst him down even further. And then during the phases where my Chixia is really weak, I can jump over and use my rover. I accidentally died there. But in the phases where my Chixia is really weak, I can jump in and use my rover instead. So what you can do is use Chixia as kind of a filler. Just remember that you want to make sure you use your abilities quite often, like the resonance skill, to get that ammunition up down here. And you also always want to make sure you have at least 30 of it, so you can use it with Resonance Liberation. And this is unique to boss fighters, because sometimes it will be hard for you to get those up. And if you don't have full ammunition when you're doing these fights, you can easily just swap between the heroes as well. So let's say I use up all my ammunition here, like this. And let's say I use both of the charges I have on my resonance skill. What I want to do while I'm using my rover here is swap over every now and then to my Chixia. I actually held my E too long there, so she actually used the wrong skill I wanted to do there. I wanted to refill my ammunition. So when you find places like this, you can jump over and use her. She's really great at situations like that. See, now I have 30 ammunition again, so I can do this. I can use my liberation and get full ammunition again. And also nuke really hard on the boss there. And using Chixia like a filler like this, and make sure you use your resonance skill before you swap over, so you gain that bit of ammunition. Because usually it will take you a while before you get back to Chixia anyways, because you will use Rover now when it's close combat, and you can't use all of that charge at time you need for Chixia to really shine. And there is time where you need to, for example, when you're using Rover, where you will have to swap to your Chixia instead. There, I accidentally died again. But the point I'm making here is that you will have different bosses as well, where you need to do it the other way around, where you swap in Chixia instead. Let's see, who's I believe Laura Lay is one of those heroes where you need to swap in a bit. Yeah, this is more of a range fight. So instead of using Rover here all the time, and you have a lot of these abilities here, as you can see in Laura Lay, it's really good to have a range hero like Chixia, because you can deal damage without being close to dying all the time, as you would be with Rover. Doesn't help that I'm not performing that well right now. But you get my point, where she will have a use cases and you will have to find those use cases yourself. Because melees are not always the best and range is not always the best. And there's also parts of bosses where they will actually differ as well. So you have to swap back and forth between melee and range units. So that's what makes Chixia so much fun as well. You have to make sure you keep track of that ammunition. You have to make sure know the boss really well, so you use the timings of Chixia really well as well. Because it's all about that ammunition management, skill management, knowing the boss fight, knowing when you have the ability to use the Daka version of the resonance skills. So by that I mean when you're holding in and using the ammunition to gain those attack stacks and so on. You have to keep track of that. Oh yeah, and one small disadvantage I forgot to highlight in this fight. I tried to go back and make it obvious and make it so that I needed to parry, but pistol wheelers can't parry abilities. So, you know, when you get that huge glowing like golden or yellow circle that comes around a hero, and if you have a melee hero you can parry them, you can't do that with a pistol wheeler. So that's also one of the disadvantages of a Chixia. So that's why it's also good to have other heroes like Rover with her, and you just need to know that pistol wheelers can't parry. I think I've gone over like the benefits and the disadvantages pretty well. So you have the benefits of what makes her really good. Well, she's not a 5-star, and because she is a 4-star, it makes a bit easier to get a lot of copies of her, so you can get those higher skills as well. And you don't have to invest like crazy amounts into her to make her really good overall. And some of her disadvantage is, of course, with the skills she has, where she needs to charge up like this to get some of the damage out. Sometimes that won't be the best, but she's still a really good hero. I think overall she's a really good hero. It's just that you need to know about the benefits and disadvantage and how to utilize her and when you can utilize her. And my account is fairly new and I'm getting to know the game, so I've used Chixia a lot and I really find her really fun to play and to manage the abilities and manage the ammunition. But that's just my opinion and how I like this character. But I think she's a really good early on free-to-play Resonator, if you like the style, of course. But I think a lot of people can utilize her in a really great way, and even in fights where she isn't that great, if you immobilize the enemy, and you have stacked up all the ammunitions you need, and you can still do a lot of burst with her. So find your use case for her, because I think she's really great overall. Tell me if there is another Resonator you want me to go over. I'm kinda limited right now, because I'm a free-to-play, so I don't have a lot of heroes. I started out like a month ago now, and I haven't collected that many heroes yet, so I can't try them all out. But who do you want to see me do next? I will probably do a video about Shorekeeper soon as well. I'm also gonna cover Verena, because she's really great early hero. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. But as always, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.